to address impact as the popular Ewi exponent Olanrewaju Adepoju buries in Ibadan. 20 Jabode News at 7. My name is Temidayo Famoyegun. President Bola Tinubu has stated readiness of his administration to put a final stop to insecurity in the northeast using a combination of the carrot and stick approach.
Also indicated readiness to partner the Borno state government in bringing dividends of democracy to the state.
The conference has become a firm and valuable tradition, symbolizing the Nigerian Army's unyielding devotion to our national security, as well as to your pursuit of excellence, both as individuals and as an institution established to defend our beloved country and our people. It provides the constructive platform to enable you to draw lessons from operations and training exercises of the past in order to refine your activities so that you may better protect our nation from serious threats, whether external or domestic.
The president had earlier paid courtesy visits to the Shehu of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar.
Members of the National Council on Privatization have been charged to ensure their economic decision and reform are reflected in the life of Nigerians. Vice President Kasim Shettima, while declaring open induction program for the new council, urged them to be proactive in paving way for economic growth with the aspirations of the citizens. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Assembled here are members and other critical stakeholders of the newly inaugurated National Council on Privatization at the Conference Center of the National Intelligence Agency. And the reminder is for them to station themselves on the front line of actualizing the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration.
The National Council on Privatization, along with the Bureau of Public Enterprises, bear the critical responsibility of driving commercial interventions that align seamlessly with these priority areas. However, it is essential for each of us to pledge to create a future where every citizen thrives. Our aim is to transform economic prosperity from a distant dream into a tangible reality.
Vice President Kashim Shettima, who is also the chairman of the council, reminded members of the council that the task before them demands going to every horizon of the hotbed of opportunities to initiate transformative reforms and to collaborate, even as he implored them to embed the reforms they were set to make in President Tinubu's 8-point renewed hope agenda.
By the end of this retreat, my hope is that we will become more resolute about the necessity of letting our discussions resound with echoes of innovative strategies, collaborative initiatives, and uncompromising commitments to the principles enshrined in Mr. President's visionary agenda.
It was a package. It wasn't something that you could...
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, underscored the significance of the federal government's privatization program and highlighted its impact on the management of enterprises owned by the government since the inception of the program.
I hope we have a very fruitful induction.
Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hassan Hadija, urged them to give in their best in the new task, noting that the success of the council will largely be dependent on synergy among stakeholders, both in private and public sectors. In Abuja, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is intensifying efforts at a short and quicker transition towards restoring a constitutionally elected government in Niger Republic. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria applauded outcome of the ECOWAS summit and are on the same page on the need for the release of ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. Lydia Sampson reports.
ECOWAS imposed sanctions on Niger following the July coup that ousted Bazoum. Gaston Good Morning Nigeria say it is already biting hard on the country, especially the citizens, driven by the determination to re-engage the junta with a view to installing a constitutionally elected government. ECOWAS is proactively reeling out modalities with a high-powered committee to fast-track implementation.
The issue is to nudge them towards the restoration of constitutional order in their countries, because that is what ECOWAS protocols, their own constitutions, are against unconstitutional changes of government. So many decisions were taken. A committee of heads of state was set up.
Aside from, seeing these indicators of of democratization step up, for citizens, especially let's say in Niger, in Burkina Faso, even in Mali, a more urgent concern is about the insecurity. Pure and simple. It's about being able to live in peace.
Civil society experts who applauded ECOWAS' articulation of efforts to help mitigate impact on the citizens and victims so far reiterates the need for easing of economic sanctions to get the buy-in of the junta to a quick transition.
We must support ECOWAS in its determination really to arrest this drift, but collectively also we have to put our finger on it, exactly what is causing this, and address it collectively.
They are emphatic that to mitigate future escalation of coups in the continent, leaders must enshrine accountable governance, true and genuine commitment to upholding their respective constitution, as well as citizen-centered policies in combating corruption across all sectors, which is sacrosanct. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Climate change comes with devastating effect on livelihood, and reports by the United Nations shows women bear the brunt of the challenge. Their vulnerability stems from economic, social, and cultural factors. Bolaji Akim report highlights some of the consequences of climate change of women and children in coastal communities in Lagos and ways they can be addressed.
Memono and other women in our community may not contribute much to global emission of greenhouse gases that cause climate change, but they are most vulnerable to the catastrophic consequences of global warming that may linger in their lives forever. Many have lost their means of livelihoods to ravaging effects of rising sea levels, coastal flooding and erosion. Their husbands, children, and other family members are not spared.
They now have to beg from other relations to survive. The business has really gone down.
Apart from reducing the economic power of these women, who form a larger percentage of the country's population, schools in some coastal areas have been overtaken by flood waters.
The disruption caused by this event has a profound impact on all our students, teachers, and of course overall educational structure. Many students are unable to go to school, teachers can't come to class, And one of the most concerning outcomes of climate change is the surge in dropout rates, especially for our girls.
Environmentalists insist that ways to address the challenge include checking emissions of various gases warming beheads and proactive climate actions by relevant authorities, cities, and individuals.
We need to ensure that we curtail climate change, that we change the climate change, that we stop disrupting the perfect balance of nature, the miracle of creation.
We must begin to empower our local communities to identify, plan, and implement strategies that enhance their resilience to climate change. We call it community-based, adaptation.
Memuno and other women and children in our community may not be aware or understand the negotiations at the International Climate Change Summit in Dubai, tagged Conference of Parties, COP28. However, key agreements from the talk can help to address the harrowing experiences of rising sea levels and coastal erosion they face every day. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says Nigerian banking industry remains resilient as key financial soundness indicators were within the regulatory thresholds. Statement by Director of Corporate Communications Department of the Apex Bank, Sidi Ali Akama, indicates that this is contrary to the reports in some media outlets suggesting that some licensed commercial banks in the country had failed the CBN's capital adequacy ratio for international authorization. To this end, the CBN is appealing to Nigerians to disregard the media reports listing banks as failing the capital adequacy ratio stress test for international authorization, as the report did not emanate from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Electoral Observer Mission in the November 11 Kogi State Governorship election has called the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) eye over the conduct of the exercise. In its report made public in Abuja, the leader of the group, Princess Ajibola, described the election that produced Usman Ododo of the All Progressive Congress (APC) as transparent, free, and fair. The report noted that the election was a fair improvement upon previous polls, with results from the state's 21 local government areas revealing a complex interplay of political dynamics and voters' preferences. The 20-page document also revealed that the exercise was generally peaceful, with high security presence and voters turnout across the state.
According to some statistics, that Kogi State recorded the lowest case of electoral violence in the off-cycle election.
We'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned.
Your flight will be ready shortly, ma'am.
Thank you. Breakfast in Paris. Lunch in London. This could be you. And there's more. Hey, Mai, tell them more.
Of course. Now this is what I call a win. And this could be you too in the Globe Festival of Joy promo.
By recharging 50,000 Naira or more within a month, you could be among our 100 winners who will win business class tickets from Lagos to Paris to London. If you recharge 100,000 Naira or more in a month, you could be one of the many winners of a premium bungalow in Nigeria. The more you recharge, the more your chances to win.
How was your flight?
Delicious.
Glow Unlimited.
President Bola Tinubu has, with immense grief, received the news of the passing of NTA broadcaster Aisha Bello Mustafa, who was one of the great icons of Nigerian broadcaster media.
In Gilali, the president extends his deepest condolences to her family, friends and colleagues, including the management and staff of the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest television network, as well as the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria. He joins them in paying solemn respect to the highly professional news anchor and presenter who spent 35 years at NTA until her retirement in 2022. The president prays God to grant the soul of the departed eternal rest and comfort for those who mourn.
Also, the death has occurred in Ibadan of a popular Ewi exponent, Chief Olanrewaju Adepoju, who was known for his mastery of Yoruba language in his poems for decades. Lukman Azam witnessed his janaza held in his mosque at Odejayi Old Ife Road, Ibadan, Oyo State, which was attended by Islamic clerics.
Olanrewaju Adepoju, a Yoruba writer, an intellectual, a religious leader, was born in Ibadan in 1940 in Oyo State. Olanrewaju Adepoju has worked in the newspaper house as a proofreader. He has published a lot of poets in his name and has published over 100 poets. Ewi Olanrewaju Adepoju wrote a book called Omo Adewo in 1972, but was later transformed into a movie in 2005 for the Yoruba audience. Olanrewaju Adepoju, not just a poet, but has become a leading factor in the Yoruba Ewi which has put politicians on their toes in trying to do things that will affect and touch the lives of the citizenry. With me is one of his sons. What will you miss about Olarewaju Adepoju?
We will miss a model, and we will miss human rights activist.
He was such a very lovely, accommodating and hospitable father.
He's my mentor, he's my leader, also he's my father. Because I'm an actor, I train under him.
Almighty Allah has said in the Quran, do not say of those who die on my path as being dead. They are not dead, they are living.
Olarewaju Adepoju, born in Okekupa, Akufo area of Ibadan, Oyo State, died after a protracted illness and has since been buried according to Islamic rites.
Olúwa òkú gbórúkọ rẹ̀ ó hóye ọ̀sà gbórúkọ rẹ̀ ó mìtìtì ìyanu ọ̀gànjọ́ ọba oníkílẹ̀ yìí ọ̀sán iná gbórúkọ rẹ̀ ó sì sinmi ariwo.
In Ibadan, Lokman Hassan, NTA News.
And here ends the news for tonight. Good night.